still scares me when she talks.
It's even funnier editing because it's not on the recording. So you see us like our bodies respond and like, we're just like, oh my God. And just it's very random.
Oh, hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Look, I wanted to be like you, so I put paintings of mine behind me.
I love it. They look so soft, is like the
They
word.
are literally the softest. There's not a lot going on yet, but hopefully there will be. And I don't even yeah, do you like it?
What a good size too.
It's like a 12 by 12. This has a lot going on. You can't really see it. A lot of transparent layers on top of each other. These canvases are so good. Like as if I gested them on my own and stretched them on my own.
Ooh, where do you get them?
Art Supply Wholesale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good quality.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways, I just wanted to like showcase that like I am an artist, I am a painter, like I actually work.
Know it, recognize it, respect it.
Respect it. I've been working, I am working. Insane how this has just become like so much more three-dimensional, like each week that it passes.
Even for me, I'm like looking at the recordings and stuff, and like there were moments where this was like so pink and then so orange and yellow, and it's really cool to see, like to have it documented.
Oh my God.
So many different stages.
Yeah. It's really smart of you to do, because now you basically just have this like archive where you can look back and be like, oh, I liked it at that stage. Let's keep that.
That's exactly, yeah. I'm gonna bring back like, it's tons of color right now, but I'm gonna try and bring back some of the more like how I'm kind of blocking out like warm and cool sections.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I'm noticing that. Yeah, so that's what the plan is.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah. Well, I did something I've never done over the weekend.
What did you do this weekend?
I live painted.
Like, well, you kind of have live painted before, but
okay, so
with less of a formal audience.
Yes, I've live painted actually at church once, which was the closest thing that I was in a church. I was in an actual church this time doing it, which is hilarious. And that was like with everyone watching me and like worshiping. That's another story. That was another phase of my life. And this
a religious experience.
It really was. And this time was for the 40 Under 40 show. They asked Lane's Coven Theater Company, which is Max's friend's theater company, to do a show. And it could be whatever we wanted. And they asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. I think I told you that. And they were like, bring us your ideas. And I was like, I can live paint. The performance was called 21 Plays. Whenever I wasn't a part of a play or a section, I was in the corner painting. So I was just like doing a painting. And then at the end, I would reveal it because people wouldn't be able to see what I've been doing. Like I kind of am in the corner hiding. And then at the end, we do a whole bit where I come out. The play was called How Much Is That Morgan in the Corner? And it was an auction that we ended up doing. And we're doing a performance in a church. Like that's really cool. So we were next to my work as I was painting. Like I was next to a big painting of mine. So for perspective, people got to see this painting that I did in an hour and a half versus something that it was so minimal. This one painting, it's like pink and lavender and yellow and very minimal, not a lot going on besides these like personal decisions that I, as an artist, you develop different things that you want to understand. So the painting becomes different. So I can whip out a landscape. So this was very interesting for me because I haven't painted even on an easel in years. Like I just paint on the floor now.
You did one painting, or was it 21?
2 nights. So I did 2 paintings.
Okay. And 2 auctions.
2 auctions. Yeah. It was like, hi everyone, I'm Morgan. Like, I just want to let you know, like what I've been doing in the corner. I've been painting this entire time. I kind of talk about how I've never done something like this before. Just like everybody else, we've coming out of this like dark, deep hole and we're not sure what we're doing. We're stumbling upon like new things. And I was able to like link up with these really talented people and do what I do, but also like I have 3 paintings in this show, check it out. Like, and then I kind of was
So
like,
good.
yeah. And then I was like, oh, and I, I'm an artist in Gloucester. That's my role in this group. As that's my main focus. But then I say, oh, like I just like, I've sold my paintings through auctions. I've sold my paintings at shows. Like, it'd just be like so fun if we had like these cards with like numbers on them, like almost like paddles, like that we could do like an auction or something. And then everyone like comes out with the numbers that we've been using for the play. We're like, oh, you mean like these ones? With like over $300 for the first one, and then $400 then the second night.
Whoa, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you document the 2 paintings? I'm kind of curious, like what they look like.
Yeah, someone took I didn't personally take a picture of
Hmm.
them next to each other, but someone else did. So I'll have to get those. One of
Yeah,
them,
share it on, or share them
yes.
on Patreon.
Yeah. And I'll have to say, they're very different. One is more like, of course, like the first night, very, very nervous, really thick, like layers. I just felt like I needed to paint the entire time that I wasn't involved. So I just kept adding more paint to it, which was really
Mm,
interesting. And then the second night, I like took my time. Things were a lot softer, like a lot more flat. Like there wasn't a lot, like, excuse me, big like dimensional like pieces. They were
mm.
vertical, like 30 by 24 pieces, pretty big.
Do you think you'll do something like that again?
I don't know. I mean, I think the concept of the 21 plays really was super fun for the audience. And like it was,
Hmm.
you get to see what like this particular theater company like wants to introduce to this area in Gloucester. They want to have a different type of voice. They want to have a modern voice. And they're going to do another play this summer, which I'm going to be doing the set design for. So I'm really excited to like take it to the next level with them. But I would do it again. I was more nervous to like perform in that way again. And also like
Yeah.
everybody is extremely talented. Like I'm not even kidding. Like these people were like doing Shakespeare monologues on the fly and doing them so incredibly well. Like
Wow.
I was amazed at the talent. So I felt like more of like a fraud. Like I was like, why am I in this group?
Do you feel like they were amazed in the same way
Yes.
when they saw that you, yeah.
They were like so amazed. They were like, oh my God, they were like insanely amazed by me. So I by the second night, I kind of understood, like,
It's
you know,
all of value, you know?
yes, but comparing yourself to like a different type of art or like a
Hmm.
craft that like clearly they've been like perfecting for years. One of the plays, the very first play, was just called 40 Shots because we were like 40 under 40, the show. And we literally had 40 shots that we had to finish before the end of all the shows. And like the audience could help us drink the shots in between shows. So we had like tequila and whiskey like flowing through our system the entire time as well.
I
Um,
helped.
it helped, but like it also like I don't even know what it did. It, like I didn't like feel anything just because the adrenaline was so high energy the entire time. But
Right.
yeah, it was really fun. I will have to say it was refreshing and rewarding, and it was a different type of thing that I haven't been a part of in a really long time that I really enjoy. And like theater in general, or like being around a group of people like doing something and like putting on a production, like that's really exciting. It's like,
But yeah,
yeah,
it's new and exciting regardless, but
yeah,
also like I think we forget that we haven't done this stuff in so long. Like I haven't had a show in so long. Like,
yes,
and even that would feel crazy, right? Like we haven't had a traditional like a reception for a show at a gallery or performances or like any of these things for so long.
no,
Um, yeah, it makes me think over the weekend, I was thinking about a lot of the same stuff.
mm,
And I was looking at just like open calls for shows and things in San Francisco. And I
mhm.
applied to some. I was like, oh, yeah, like you almost, it's been so long that you kind of forgot, like,
I
oh,
know.
right.
Well,
We could like put our work like
out
outside of my
there.
studio.
I know. I'm about to like, maybe I don't even know if I've announced this yet, but I'm about to sign papers for a new space. And this space is going to be like visible. Like people are going to be like walking up to my door essentially, like to
Mhm.
see what I'm working on. And this is like the exact opposite of what I've done the past year. Basically hiding in like a basement studio where no one can see anything I'm doing, like
You
nothing.
know, the
So yeah.
reemergence is like both
Oh,
exciting and scary at the same
and
time.
exhausting. We forget that the energy that's being used has been dormant for so long, right? Like this type of energy. And so the fact that we're
Yeah.
so tired, like it, I just need to take a moment to like say that to myself and say, and to you, like, do not be surprised that in this next phase of life, we're just going to be the most tired people in America because we have not been used to this type of energy. Like I'm telling you, this week
Yeah.
I have someone to see every single day of the week.
Yeah. It's kind of like working out, right? Like
It's
you
too
don't use the
much.
muscles for a long
Yes.
time, so then everything is tiring.
Yeah, everything is tiring. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like we're talking about our next like couple of weekends here and like they're
Hmm.
full. Have been in such a restful state. We've been in a state where we've honored our rest and given it rest and like given ourselves to this rest, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, how do we find this balance of like work life, working from home, enjoying our craft, but also resting our brain and our mind and all of these things that we're like used to thinking about ourselves as an artist, um, to be better, to be the best, to show something amazing. Like we had to take all of those ideas about being an artist and like calm them, quiet them, and accept ourselves for where we were at every stage of this pandemic.
Hmm.
I got really good at it. Like I got really good at
Me
slowing
too.
down.
Yeah.
And exactly. And so did you. And like we like kind of were able to help each other actually through that. We're like, oh, well, what else can we make, and do that's not gonna make us feel really shitty about ourselves.
And it's a jolt. Like
It's a jolt for
I think
sure.
even in normal times, like kind of coming out of winter into summer is the jolt anyway, but also adding like the pandemic and things opening up again adds like a layer for sure. It's
Yeah.
something that I think we're all processing. Some people are really looking forward to it. Some people are really kind of dreading going back to the old way,
I know.
and people in between. But I'm excited by it mainly because of the time we're in. Like I just love summer and the warmth and the light, and like
Yeah.
it's like 8:30 at night and it's still bright and you're just so
Yes.
inspired to do things.
Yes.
Like yeah, I just am really fueled by that, like
Oh
the
my
light
God.
and the warmth. So
Okay.
it
Yeah.
helps me kind of get into these things that are a bit more
And that
challenging.
exactly, like I feel like that's the only thing that really saves me is like as long as I can like see the sunset at the end of the day, or as long as I can like exist and enjoy where I live in this time, like I'll be okay. We've also talked about like how some people, and I forget what your answer was, but like during this time, how you just said like, you're mostly inspired when it's this time of with the light and like the summertime and the warmth, and like that's where you're getting like a lot of like inspiration and beauty from the world, and it's where you feel your best, it's where you are your best, like mentally, emotionally, it's when everything is like aligning. And that's how I feel. And like another thing that fuels me and inspires me is like being busy and like having these things to do every weekend and showing my work and having a show here and dropping off pieces over here and like connecting with another possible store that could just like hold my work in there, or like those are the things that keep me going and that's what keeps me
Hmm.
producing work. Whereas like in the pandemic, like it was extremely difficult for me to make anything because there wasn't any buzz, there wasn't
Yeah,
any like energy.
yeah, you're talking about something very real. And I actually saw an article about this, about how there were a lot more cases of depression with people who
Yeah.
were like, I mean, it was like a whole list, like people who work from home or are self-employed or people who lost their jobs. And the main thing I think they touched on was the work from home thing, and how there's like these little bits of kind of adrenaline and dopamine
Mm-hmm.
around, like, when you go to an office. I mean, this is really, I'm kind of talking about a lot of different jobs here, but in general, you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
go to
Go to
your
an
place of
office,
work
go
and
see your coworkers.
you get a little bit of that kind of like a metaphorical like pat on the back, like, oh, you did the thing, and they see it in person, and there's a
Yeah.
smile and there's a comment, and um, these little things that fuel you, like that make you feel like, oh, I did a good job, I'm
Well, they're,
accomplishing things.
yeah, small affirmations throughout the day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And not that those can exist virtually, but there are much
Yeah.
fewer.
True.
And when you're out there doing that, and like you're able to get your work into different stores and meeting with people, kind of locking in possible art opportunities,
Mhm.
even ones that don't even end up working out. It's like this fuel, like, oh my gosh, I did that meeting and it almost worked, and the next one probably will. And um, all that stuff really happens in person. It's like an
Mhm.
energy that really fuels you to keep going, which
Yeah.
in turn gives you that dopamine, which in turn makes you feel happy. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all these little things that
Oh, and then in turn makes you
inspire
want to
us.
keep going.
It's hard to create on our own, like when we are kind of going inward, or when things are slowing down, or when we're
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
And it's why I'm always eternally grateful for this. Like, I think about how much more inspiration I feel, and energy and
Yeah.
excitement around my work, around creating things, around writing, which
Yeah.
I always hated,
Sharing.
like sharing,
Yeah.
healing, learning, like on and on and on. It's all really
Hey.
thanks to this project that we
Yeah.
started. And I remember really early on, I talked about kind of feeling like, I don't know, like an emptiness. Like I'll always paint, and the
Mm.
goal is not really to like be that artist that paints and like puts their work under their bed and doesn't share it with anyone. There is like
Yeah.
a certain part of it that's about sharing, celebrating, like putting it in a gallery or putting it in a
Well,
home,
yeah,
talking about it.
it's your gift. It's like what you have to offer to the world also. Like you have so much more to offer, but your artwork is just one of them. And if it's like a way to honor that and bring it to life, and have people traditionally um like gather because of it. And
Mhm.
so there's so much more than just the piece of art. It's like community and
Right.
gathering and,
Totally.
yeah,
Connection.
connection.
Yeah, there was like so much. They included some research in that article I mentioned.
Hmm.
If I can find it, maybe I'll share it again.
Yeah,
But
yeah, do
um,
please.
there's like a study of like that more people are actually happier
Mm,
with a job that has like a regular kind of rigid schedule, because
mm,
people generally have trouble doing that for themselves. And I remember experiencing that too, and talking about that with you, like, I don't know how to like do this. And that's another thing
yeah.
that I'm really grateful for with this. It's like, all right, like every week you and I are gonna record, every week we're gonna plan and write. And it's nice to it's easier said than done. Like when you're saying like, I like painting, I like writing, I like doing all this stuff, but to really have this feeling that you're kind of running side by side with someone in the same direction, like where you look over, I'm like, oh, Morgan's writing too, like, oh,
Yeah.
Morgan's painting too, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
connection and
Yeah.
togetherness that I
Mm,
feel even from a distance is wonderful.
yeah, I agree.
It's like not impossible, but I think a lot of what the article is saying is like humans do really enjoy like a
Yeah,
structure, a schedule,
they do.
societal kind of togetherness, like we're all kind of accomplishing the same thing or a similar thing,
Yes.
working towards a similar goal, all that stuff.
All of that stuff. Yeah. But it's really like a testament to like you going back to how you were like looking at all of the different open calls, like how you would feel to then show your work again. Like what would that feel like
Mhm.
to you? And like would you be nervous, or would you be excited, or would you fill in the blank, you know?
I feel really out of touch with that feeling. Like
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I did it almost because I was like, oh, I totally forgot that like galleries are opening, and like that could be a thing. But to actually go down the path of like, oh, like if I got in and I like drove and dropped my work off and showed it and went to a reception,
Yeah.
like, whoa, I don't know. Like, I'm assuming I would be really excited.
No, yeah, I was excited. I mean, I'm very sentimental, so I knew this was the first show in a year that I've been in, but like
Mhm.
you had to sign up in slots and wear masks and like it was different. So it just didn't feel the
Right,
same,
right.
anyways, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at. But also, like for you, it's like I was just thinking about how like privileged we've both been in showing our art and being able to have the ability to show it with like in within the communities we've been in. And it's going to
Hmm.
be really interesting for you to like step into a different community and like see where you can like get your work in and like showcase your art. Like I feel like
Yeah.
through living in Massachusetts and like being in the community, we've been able to like have really good connections and just be able to get our work out there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're totally right. That was another thing that I was thinking about, which fueled me to want to apply to some things, is because like, do you remember when we first moved to Beverly? Like nobody knew us. No, not one person. Like we moved there, we went to school, we learned, we studied, and we talked to people and we connected to people. Like it would, I think about how far we both have come. Like
Yeah.
I remember going to P Town for the first time ever and staying with Colin McGuire, who's another Mozart grad,
Mhm.
another painter,
Yep. I'll be showing with
and
him in August.
and walking down Commercial Street together. And I had a stack of business cards, and nobody fucking knew me in P Town.
Yeah.
Not no one.
Yeah.
And we're walking together, and there were moments where he had to work, and I was walking by myself, and I was talking to gallery owners and saying like, I have been following your gallery for forever. I love the artists you show, and how nervous I was and excited and feeling the sun on my face on a P-Town summer day, and like meeting people who would then show my work and build relationships and introduce me to other people who would buy my work and show my
Yeah.
work. It's like this really slow kind of building that I haven't felt in a long, long, long time.
Right.
And I had this wake up call like, oh, I could do that again.
Well, yeah. And also, showing will be one exciting thing, but showing in a city where you've never shown before is also another fun, exciting venture that you get to
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. It's a new
So
place where I
it's
don't know anyone.
a 2 for 1
Yeah, and
experience.
that's really how it happens. Like
It is.
being in a place, I think, is the best way to connect. And that's what you and I have always done in a lot of
Yeah.
different ways. Like you're connected to so many like interior designers
Mhm.
and art handlers, art consultants, and I was in like the gallery world, which allowed me to meet a lot of people who own galleries. And it just is like a slow kind of, I know networking is like a yucky word, but kind of like a
Mm.
slow networking kind of thing.
There are years of my life where all I thought I did was network. And it's like, like thinking about doing that again in a new place for me too, because I'm new here. I'm gonna have to do it somehow differently because I'm not in the same place I was 6 years ago. Like I need
Yeah.
health and wellness and
Hmm.
I need time.
I think same. Like I don't think I'll do it the same way. Um,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'll do it with as much balance and care that I can. But
Mm.
I'm in a place like California, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Anything could happen. But
Yeah.
I'm in a place where I feel like this is home and where I want to be. So it's like an added layer of
Mm.
like, I really want to get roots down here and
Yeah.
connections, even
Yes.
friends. Like, you know, I would like to build a community like I did in Beverly. Like, I
Hmm.
went to Beverly and I didn't know a single person. And, 10 years later, I left with like a real family, you know.
I think in your position, you haven't been there for very long and you were like there in a really sketchy time where like I was able to like before it got really, really sketchy to be inside, was able to make some connections like right before that.
Hmm.
Um, but like now you're able to like do this. I'm just like putting
Yeah.
it together that like you're gonna be like showing so soon. Like I think you're gonna
I
be
hope
at least
so.
connecting with people. You're gonna at least
Yeah.
like start to do studio visits and like just don't forget about
Yeah.
don't forget about me. Don't forget
I
about
hope
us.
so. I hope so. I really, yeah, I would love to show my work. It's like a really beautiful thing, a beautiful
Yeah,
exchange, like making
it
the
is.
thing, showing it to someone else, having them love it or tear it apart, either way.
Either way, gotta love it. Yeah, I know. There's nothing that we love more than someone telling us their honest opinion.
We
Mm,
love radical honesty.
love it, need it, want it, seek it. This is what we have to look forward to. And actually having these conversations now and like while it's happening is gonna be a good way for us to like understand that it's real. That we are going to be entering into this space.
And I appreciate like something to look back on and really document. Like, can you even imagine if I was like in vlogging when I was like driving to P Town by myself, like walking around? Like, I was
No,
so nervous and like never in a million years did I think I would
I
go back
know,
there and like show my work.
I
Like,
know.
it's just
Yeah,
cool, like to
yeah.
have this conversation to be like, yeah, I don't know. I think I might submit my work to a couple places. We'll see what
I
happens.
I
Like, and
know.
then,
Yeah.
5 years from now, who knows?
Well, I like you love to take moments to see the growth that we both have like gone through as emerging artists to known
Mhm.
artists to still feeling really we're still emerging, we're not like very well known yet, but at least since the beginning see how far we've come and how our
Yeah,
brain has kind of molded to the reality of us making this a real thing for us, that it's not so out of the picture, like this is something that we can actually do.
even on a more sentimental note, like I keep bringing up P Town, and it made me remember
I
like that was
know,
when you and I first
I
really, really,
know.
because I think we're just like a whirlwind of like we're just so focused on our shit, and it's like
Mhm.
to try and like take time out of our day to like hang out and form like a new connection. It just wasn't going to happen.
No.
But that was like, we are stuck in a car for many
I know.
hours together, really formed like a bond that,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know, pretty much contributed to why we're here
Yes.
today.
Yes. And I will have to say, I've been stuck in cars with people going to P Town many a times. And have I made the same bond with anybody else in that car? No, I
Oh,
haven't.
that's so sweet. Do you remember dropping me off like after the whole experience in P Town? And we were still talking in your car. Like I'm like trying to like get out of the car, like, and we're like still chatting. Like
I remember being so like tired, but like so amped up after.
same,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
same.
was like my
Yep,
experience. Oh
yep.
man.
All right.
So adorable. Anyways,
Until next week.
until next week, I will talk to you then.
Sounds good. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.